When Christian missionaries claim that Jesus fulfilled over 300 or over 600 prophecies, don't get excited by that number. As a matter of fact, when I speak to missionaries directly, we have conversations, I'll say to them, look, let's be honest with each other. How many prophecies do you really believe Jesus fulfilled? And they'll say, in moments of honesty, well, maybe 10, maybe 20. Psalm 22, verse 16, for dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me, they pierced my hands and my feet. Obviously, the Christian immediately thinks about the crucifixion of Jesus. Look at the Jewish translation. Ka'ari, like a lion, yodai v'raglai, my hands and my feet. I'm claiming that the word ka'ari means like a lion. The Christian says, no, ka'ari means they pierced. If you have a word in the Bible and you're not clear what it means, the simplest thing to do is go to every other place that word appears, right, and see what it means there. Isaiah chapter 38:13. Like a lion he breaks all my bones. Ka'ari, kein yishaber kol atzmotai. Every single time this word appears in the Bible, even the Christian translations render it as like a lion.
One interesting text that they do cite is the notion of the virgin birth. There is indeed a prophecy in Isaiah that talks about the Alma conceiving and giving birth to a child. In point of fact, that is not the Hebrew word for virgin. The Hebrew word for virgin is Bitulah. Alma actually means a young woman, and it does not connote whether it's a virginal state or not. It's not even a messianic prophecy. It is not talking about either the virgin birth, nor is it even talking about the ultimate Messiah. The final text, though, is they do talk about Isaiah 53, which talks about the suffering servant of God, indeed. We have a whole vast corpus of Jewish interpretation of Isaiah 53, in which they regard the suffering servant as not a reference to an individual, but as a reference to the overall fate of the Jewish people that has suffered through century after century of persecution and in effect bears the sin of the world.
Who is this servant? How do we know the answer? We want to know, what does Isaiah think? Who is God's servant? Isaiah 53 is, in reality, the fourth of four servant songs, okay, which begin in Isaiah 41. So what we would do is, and I'm going to do this with you tonight, and everyone who has a Bible, take it out. We have to be sure. Too much at stake, heaven and hell. If Christianity is true, you don't want to deny it, you'll go to hell. If it's not true, it's idolatry. I'm being honest with you. What we're doing is, you see, we're creeping up to Isaiah 53, and I'm going to show you every place where the servant is mentioned. Watch this. Isaiah 41, verse 8 and 9.
But you, Israel, are my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen.
Thank you. Isaiah 44, verse 1.
But hear now, Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen.
Thank you. 44:21.
Remember these things, O Jacob, for you are my servant, O Israel.
45, verse 4.
Jacob, my servant's sake.
48, verse 20.
Say the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob.
49, verse 3.
And so to be thou art my servant Israel.
Did I put this in your Bibles? When Isaiah authored the 53rd chapter, he presupposed that you have already read the chapters that introduce it.
Through the prophet, God said, my servant Jacob, my servant Israel. 8 or 9 times in that very book, Isaiah names the servant. If you're going to read the Jewish Bible, don't try to shape it and bend it into what you want it to say.
The truth of the matter is that the Jewish nation has been studying the Scripture since it was put down in writing. Every word and every nuance of the text is precious to the Jew. Jews have been reading these proof texts centuries before Christianity was born. The prophets describe in great detail the rebuilding of the land of Israel, the temple in Jerusalem, peace on earth, and the universal knowledge of God. The fact that these prophecies have not yet been fulfilled tells us that the Messiah has not yet arrived.
The true Messiah is to reign as King of the Jews. Jesus' career, as described in the New Testament, lasted all of 3 years, at the end of which he was crucified by the Romans as a common criminal. Nowhere does the Jewish Bible say that the Messiah would come once, then be killed, and return again in a second coming thousands of years later.
You come and you tell me this man is going to save the world, fix the world, and make everything perfect. And then he dies. And 2,000 years later you tell me, no, he'll do it, he'll do it. Was he the Messiah? Obviously not. Is he going to be? How do you know? What are you predicting the future? Maybe my grandfather's going to be the Messiah. So the answer to that question is no.